That's what I want.
Right? He doesn't have a family? Let's sign him right today.
You know, Walter, Damian Lillard.
Orphans. Isn't that one of those G League teams, the Orphans?
Who's ready?
I hope we're all ready.
All right, welcome back, folks. It's the Unrestricted. Hey, Bob. Hey, Wally.
Hi, Jefferson.
Did you stay up late and watch some basketball last night?
I did.
I did, too. Some great games going on in the NBA. We'll get to that.
Are you going to stay up and watch basketball tonight, however?
I am. Why wouldn't I?
Because you posed it that way and made me think of this right away. Are you going to watch Caitlin Clark tonight in her WNBA debut?
I was going the same direction.
Hey.
It's a little unfortunate that her debut goes up against two must-win Game 5s in the NBA.
Yes.
I'm sure the WNBA doesn't love that.
You know who loves Caitlin Clark right now?
Who?
The New York Knicks.
Why?
Because she's playing in the building where the Pacers play, is pushing back Game 6.
Really? Okay.
Yes,
I did not realize that.
Get extra day of rest.
Yeah, the Knicks need it. The Knicks, your Knicks are so banged up. It's unreal. I don't know if they're going to get out of this series, and if
I don't know either.
And if they don't, it's going to be because they're banged up.
Yes. Listen, they're clearly in trouble. There's no doubt about it. They're gasping for air at this point. I mean, think about what they have. How many guys are out of the lineup? First of all, they lost Julius Randle in January, and it's OG Anunoby's out, Mitchell Robinson's out, the 3-point shooter, Bojanovic is out.
Yes.
It's like, Jesus.
Brunson's banged up.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really
he's got a foot issue that he is 2 inches short on his lift.
I don't
know how they're able to measure that, but that is the official stat. He is 2 inches short on his jumping ability in the game. It's like, how the fuck do you know that?
Well, they're doing the NBA Combine right now. They measure that kind of stuff. And by the way, we'll get to a little bit of that because the Spurs got number 4 and number 8 in the draft lottery 2 days ago, which is very interesting. And now the billion-dollar question is, what are they going to do with it? But I want to start with Caitlin Clark.
Okay.
I have heard some weird things in the last couple of weeks about some jealousy surrounding Caitlin Clark from other WNBA players that say, well, why aren't we making money like that? Because you're not the draw that Caitlin Clark is. If you fucking were, your league would be better off. She's going to help your lift. She's going to help your league. And what is it they say, Bob? Rising
tide lifts all ships.
Lifts all ships. They should be thrilled to have her, not jealous that she's going to the Met Gala or getting paid more than everybody else, or taking private flights, or getting more sponsorship opportunities. This is making a bigger pie for the WNBA so each player can have a bigger slice. That's good for you, not bad for you, young ladies.
Yeah, don't crap on it because it ain't gonna last.
And the other thing to that, Walter, is I've heard this. Well, look how much the men are making, and look how little we're making.
Yeah, that's an issue for them. And
you have a small.
You're not playing enough eyeballs to the game. That's all there is to it.
Thank you.
If you're making more money, they'll pay you more money.
That's right.
Listen, in this particular case, the rest of the country, yes, you're getting screwed. I understand that. You've been getting screwed forever. But in sports, it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't, man. They're eating from a smaller pie than the NBA players are.
There's no question.
And the pie is going to grow.
Is it?
I mean, and that's absolutely. It is going to grow.
I'm not sold. I'm sold on Caitlin Clark. I'm not sold on the WNBA because you're going to ask us to watch professional women's basketball, and I'm not interested in that.
Are you interested in the latest advertising campaign for a bunch of WNBA stars?
Tell me about it.
No.
For the underwear manufacturer Skims?
Skims,
that's what's her name?
Candace Parker, Carrington, Kelsey Plum, Skylar Diggins-Smith. Yeah. Would you ever see, like, NBA players doing this type of thing? It's
like bulgy men's underwear?
I mean,
Tom Brady did, didn't he? Didn't he do underwear ads?
Well, so did Joe Namath.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's kind of like soft pornography.
People are asking, who the fuck is Joe Namath?
Yeah, really. All right, guys.
The last good Jets quarterback.
We talk. Yeah, but this is if you're 30-something years old, who the hell's Joe Namath? Never heard of him. But we've seen women and men and professional athletes in underwear ads and bras and panties and stuff like that before.
I know.
It's not attractive.
I think Caitlin Clark, and there is a rise. It's just a matter of how big that rise is going to be. Pun not intended.
I don't know. I don't. I'm going to need to see it over an extended period of time to believe it, because I don't think one person is not going to lift the league. It doesn't work that way.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Okay, we'll see.
PGA. I mean, one person lifted the entire PGA into consciousness. One person.
Who? Tiger Woods?
Yes.
Yeah, but the rest of the tournaments that he didn't play, and nobody gave a shit. So
I don't know.
That's an individual sport.
Live Golf. How much money is going to Live Golf, and Tiger's not playing Live Golf?
You're asking.
I'm pushing the buzzer. I'm pushing the buzzer. No more Caitlin Clark WNBA talk.
You're asking American men to watch women's basketball. It's not going to happen.
The biggest story of the week in San Antonio, undoubtedly, is that the Spurs landed picks number 4 and number 8, getting Toronto's pick. I think it's a good thing that the pick conveyed this year. It would have possibly conveyed next year if it fell outside the top 6, same as the restrictions on this year. It might have been better to get that Toronto pick next year in a deeper draft.
Maybe not. Who knows?
But Toronto really looks like they're in the tank, Walter. So I think they're going to finish bottom 6 next year. So I don't think it would have conveyed. And at the end of that rainbow of for that deal with Toronto, there were 2 second-round picks that it would transfer into, and that would have been a horrible loss. So it's probably a decent thing that the Spurs got it in this draft.
I don't care that much, but go ahead.
Okay.
And it's and from all analysts, pundits, this is kind of a flat draft. I mean, there's a lot of players to be had.
There's no consensus number 1 pick. So I mean, that's all you need to know about this draft.
Well, I think there's
consensus number 1 draft.
I don't agree with that, Walter.
That doesn't mean there's not great players in here, but there's not one outstanding. There's no Wemby in the draft.
Yeah, I think I have a problem when people say, there's nobody in this draft. That's just historically wrong.
Yeah, of course.
There's always somebody in the draft. What there isn't, like you were saying, is there's not a clear-cut top 1, top 2, or top 3 player like last year where you knew that Brandon Miller, Scoot Anderson, and Wembanyama were all franchise guys, and that was an easy pick. But I feel like NBA GMs and NBA scouts are lazy with this shit. The most recent example of a supposedly weak draft was 2013. And in that 2013 draft was Giannis Antetokounmpo and Nikola Jokic. They just didn't get picked numbers 1 and 2. There's talent. There's a great player in every fucking draft. It is on you as a franchise, as a scout, as a general manager to find those guys.
Yeah, but they do. This is media and fans talking about this draft. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And a lot of times the GMs and the scouts don't know what they're talking about either, because, as you just said, Jokic fell to was he a second-round pick?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't know what the hell they're doing either. So,
which makes me hopeful, to Jeff's point, that we have 2 picks in the top 10 that odds are at least one of them is going to go.
Oh, sure. And the Spurs have had a decent scorecard as far as drafting is concerned. They've had some Hall of Famers, and then they've had Jan Mahimi. So it could go either way.
Jan Mahimi, where did you pull that one from?
Oh, he's a first-round pick, and somebody says, "Oh, the Spurs have been terrific first round." No, they haven't.
He went to George Washington University.
It's been 50-50. Bano. Anyway,
50-50.
So what do you do with the first 2 picks? Are you going to make those selections? I don't see that happen. I can't imagine that happening. I can't imagine the Spurs making either one of those selections. To me, this is a no-brainer. You find the best trade partner you can find, and you make the deal. If you got to throw in Keldon Johnson, by all means, have at it. His time in San Antonio is over. I can't imagine anyone disagreeing with that, including Brian Wright. I'd ship those 2 picks and Keldon and get the best player I can get in return.
I'm with you, but I am surprised how many Spurs fans disagree with you and me on that.
They want to pick this French kid, Richard, or whatever the hell his name is. You've never even seen him play a freaking game. Give me a break.
Risache, yes.
Whatever his fucking name is. Who cares?
So let me say this. What they do with the picks 4 and 8, Walter, it's not like the $1 million question. It's a $1 billion question.
Absolutely.
You've got Wemby, a generational talent. You've got possibly a new arena coming to downtown. You have to make sure that you are getting players who are on Wembanyama's winning timeline. And if we learned anything from this last year, it's that Wemby is ready to win now. He is ready to win now. Can you get him help to win now? And Walter, if you're drafting number 4 and you're getting Rob Dillingham or Reed Shepherd,
whoever it is,
They're 3
years out.
That's right.
At least.
That's right.
If you get a good one. Kawhi Leonard, it took him 3 years to become a very good player. It's going to take some time. You don't want to spend 3 years wasting Wemby. And here's the other thing about Wemby, too. For some reason, I don't know. Well, I do know what the reason is. San Antonio, the fans, the media, the TV people, the radio people, they are all deathly afraid of Wemby leaving San Antonio. You can hear it in their comments. You can hear it in their opinions. If you stop and you listen closely, everyone in this town is deathly afraid that Wemby is going to get up and leave if they don't win yesterday. I mean, Wemby played 1 season here, and it's like, oh my God, if he doesn't win next season, he's going to go. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, but he's a Parisian. He is magnanimous. There's lots about Wemby that would lend itself to a major league market. Okay,
of course,
the threat of him leaving is certainly real. But my dad was espousing that crap to me the other day. Oh, he's going to leave us anyway. What does it matter? No. Nobody in the history of the rookie deals, Walter, has ever walked away from a deal from their home team. Never. You know why? Because they can offer them more money.
Sure.
Even Zion Williamson didn't leave a shitty New Orleans franchise when he was offered the bag from New Orleans.
He's not going anywhere, so relax.
But we do need to need to respect his timeline. And I don't want to eschew that part of the argument.
But that's not going to change. I mean, and the Spurs aren't saying, well, he's not going to leave, so we can take our time with. Then the Spurs aren't going to take their time.
No,
they want to win just like everybody else.
And they
does.
don't have to. But it does need to be a 2-layered strategy. One is win now. So bring in players that can support Wemby and win now, but also is build that foundation of young players that are going to develop up. So Wemby in 6 or 7 years, because the veterans you bring in, the free agents you bring in are not going to be here in 6 or 7 years for those championship runs then. So bring in the young players that are going to develop up so you have a long ramp.
Well, so if those players they bring in are here in 6 and 7 years, then you got the wrong veterans.
So
you can't bring in a guy who's 34 years old.
That's right.
Because the idea is not to win. The idea is to win a title. There's a difference. You're not here to. You're not going to, and scouring the free agents to see if we can get a couple of free agents here that can get the Spurs into the play-in game. That's not what that's not the object here. The object is to win the title, not to get into the playoffs. Who the hell wants to do that?
Yeah.
So if they get into the playoffs, they're going to get knocked out as quick as they got in.
Yeah, but if we're looking in the very near future, like 24-25, Walter, it's not going to be a championship season. But could it be a 50-win season if the Spurs brought in 2 veterans? Yeah, sure. I think so. Why not? Right?
It's not going to be easy to do.
It won't be easy. You'll have to make deals.
All right, right? Here's my thought. I would, like I said, I would package those 2 guys. I would throw Keldon into the mix, and the guy I'd like to have, and I don't know, this Trae Young talk is just ludicrous.
I don't want him.
He doesn't fit in San Antonio. He doesn't play defense. That's not the guy that I would want, and the guy that I would think could be available. I'm not saying he is. Certainly would be controversial. I would take a look at Ja Morant. Because I could get a super.
What?
I could get.
Why would he be available?
Because maybe the Memphis has had enough of his stupidity and want him out of there.
He's everything to them. But I will give you another guy. If the Suns need to break up, and it looked a lot 2 weeks ago when they got kicked out of the playoffs that they need to break it up, Devin Booker is the guy to look at.
Yeah, but he's not the guy that's going to get out of there. You're gonna get rid of Durant first before you get rid of anybody else.
You would think so, but I don't know. Maybe they'll break it up. They need to reclaim a lot of assets because they've given away so many of their first-round picks, kind of like Atlanta.
But is Phoenix going to go and just burn it all the way down to the ground?
I don't know. And certainly
don't
you'd
think
have
so.
to give the Suns more than the 4, the 8, and Keldon Johnson to get him. But that would be a guy I would have my eyes on. Now, look, if the Spurs are going to make a move, I'm not interested in Trae Young. I'm no longer interested in Darius Garland. Watching these playoffs, Walter, I want positional size at every spot on the floor.
But there's
When
nobody
you
in
watch-
the playoffs that you can get.
No,
You're not
no,
gonna
no.
get them.
No, I'm not saying that. That's
Okay.
not what I'm saying. The playoffs are teaching me I don't want little guards. I do not want the Trae Youngs of the world. I want big, long, rangy, positional size at every spot. The way the Timberwolves have,
Oh, yeah.
the way New Orleans sort of
You
has.
want Kawhi Leonard again.
You want 6 Kawhi Leonards if you can
Absolutely.
have them,
Yeah.
with a better knee.
Yeah, with a better knee and a better attitude and no Uncle Dennis. That's right.
That's right.
Like, that's what I want.
Right, he doesn't have a family? Let's sign him right today.
You know, Walter, Damian Lillard.
Orphans.
Isn't that one of those G League teams, the Orphans?
Damian Lillard's been a great player in this league for a long time, and he gets to the playoffs, and he gets hunted on defense, and he's 6'2". I don't want Rob Dillingham at 5'11" or Reed Shepherd at 6'1". I don't want those guys on the Spurs roster
Big wings.
because they get hunted. I want big wings, big guards, size all over the place. If the Spurs do keep this pick, I'm going to give you 3 names, and these are guys that are projected, Walter, much later in the draft than the mocks have them. But I say fuck the mocks, man.
Fuck the mocks.
Go find the talent. Like the
Okay,
Fuck the mocks.
the history shows that there are great players in these drafts. You just got to go find them. I think Keyshawn George has a really good chance. Tijan Salon has a really good chance, and both those kids have some French background, by the way. And then Oso Iguodaro from Marquette.
My kids used to love to watch Oso on TV, that cartoon Oso. Remember?
Oso Iguodaro, watch him.
I have no interest in Oso Iguodaro or anybody else.
You
named
will if the
Oso.
Spurs draft him.
No, I won't.
What?
I don't care.
You don't care who the Spurs players are?
No, I do care who the
Okay,
Spurs player
yeah.
are, but I don't care about this pre-draft nonsense. Who cares?
Why
I don't
not?
care because it's meaningless.
It's not meaningless. It's absolutely not
You
meaningless.
can't tell me that any of those 3 guys or anybody else that's in this draft is going to be an NBA All-Star. You can't tell me that. You
No,
just can't.
but you got to go find them. That's the
I
point,
get
Walter.
it. I don't.
No.
They do. They get paid to do that. I don't care.
Oh, it's much more fun to do it yourself.
Oh, gosh. Jeff Bexler.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Talking about the Suns made me think of this. Plus or minus 1 championship combined for Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Steph Curry going forward.
I'm going to take the under.
Steph, LeBron,
And KD.
KD.
Plus or minus 1 championship combined.
Take the under.
It depends on where they go. Where they are today,
Well,
they're
that's
not
just
getting
fucking
it.
brilliant.
Well, it depends on where they go. They're not going to either. I don't think any one of those 3 guys is going to be on the same team.
You don't?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think Curry's leaving, and I don't think LeBron's leaving.
Well, if Curry
Ooh,
doesn't
you-
get out of Golden State, then he ain't going to win another championship. If LeBron doesn't get out of LA, he's not winning another championship. And if KD doesn't get out of Phoenix, he's not winning another championship.
KD's not winning another championship no matter where he goes. I don't like KD.
Okay.
Now, do you
I
see
disagree with that,
Did you see
but-
LeBron in Cleveland?
No. What?
He was in Cleveland watching the game.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Did you see what was
and
under his seat?
A whoopee cushion?
No. He had a cup of coffee. He had 2 bottles of water, and then he had a bottle of wine that was opened.
Nice. Was he drinking out of it?
He may have been, but
Was it
the
a bottle
point
or a
is,
box?
it was a bottle of wine called Opus One.
Yeah, that's a great bottle.
Opus One. And
$2,000.
That brings me to the. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe Opus One makes a couple of different types of Opus One bottles, but the one he had
Opus 2,
is
Opus
a
3.
$500 bottle of wine that is available right now on wine.com or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I looked it up was I said, I wonder what kind of bottle of wine that is. And sure enough, it was Opus One. And that brings me to a story was one of the first road trips. In fact, it was the first road trip I ever went on as a member of the radio station. And we go up to Dallas in the 2000 season. That was after they beat Minnesota. And we go up to Dallas. Andrew Ashwood takes me up there in a flight. We land up there and whatever and do whatever we're doing. And then we end up going out for dinner to Del Frisco's, famous restaurant in Dallas. I don't even know if it's open anymore, but
Sure,
it was at
sure
the
it
time.
is. Yeah.
So I was there with the husband and wife that owned Body Solutions at the time,
Remember
with
them?
Joel Myers, with Laura Green, Chris Dool, and Andrew Ashwood. We had 1 pound fillets, we had lobster tails, we had shrimp, and we had 3 glasses of wine in front of us at all times. We consumed every bottle of Opus One that restaurant had.
Nice.
Every one of them, and sold them out. That dinner had to be $10,000
For sure. For sure.
easily.
Yeah.
And Body Solutions paid for every dollar of it,
And they went to jail.
and they ended up going to
Yeah.
jail for whatever.
Opus One is a great bottle. I've had it. It's
Screwing
great.
everybody out of their money, but nevertheless, that was one of the great memories I have of being in the radio business. Was that freaking dinner? But that's what he had. He had an open bottle of Opus One under his chair.
So what does LeBron being in Cleveland watching a game mean to you?
Well, I mean, it's his option whether or not he stays with the Lakers. It's his player option, so it's all in his court.
Yeah.
And then Bronny is medically cleared for the draft. We'll see where he possibly maybe not goes, but
He had a really good showing at the Combine yesterday, by the way. I was watching, and Bronny shot really well and tested well athletically. So that's going to help him.
If that was your kid, wouldn't you want to go play with him?
Yes.
that's what he said.
And that's what he's going to do. I
always said.
got to say that, where Bronny gets drafted, and I would think LeBron would want. I don't think LeBron wants to leave the Lakers, and I would think LeBron wants Bronny. with him.
Spurs have 2 second-round picks, Walter. Spurs have 2 second-round picks. I'd spend one on Bronny. Why not?
To get LeBron James here.
Sure. I'll take 3 years of LeBron. Yes, I will.
Okay. I
will.
In. I'm in.
Yes, I will.
That's intriguing.
Isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, look, the
In
4
other
and the
fantasies.
4 and the 8 pick, it's always more fun to draft a young guy. It's just more fun, right? Taking the bird in the bush versus the bird in the hand, so to speak. Yeah, I knew you'd laugh at that. But the reality is that they're not going to be on his timeline. And Walter, we have 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, but you're getting
next
LeBron.
year.
But you're getting LeBron in that mix. That's the thing that you're not getting. You're not taking Bronny because of Bronny. You're taking Bronny because
To get
LeBron comes with him,
Of course you are. Of course you are.
and that would make perfect sense. Then you could, that's a free ride right there.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything to get LeBron on your team. All you got to do is draft this kid.
Possibly. It seems like that might be the case.
Would you do that? Would
Yes,
you waste?
I'm telling you,
how
I
about if
would.
it's a first-round pick?
No,
Would you waste if it comes with LeBron? You wouldn't draft him number 4 overall?
absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not. But if I had the 24th pick, I would take Bronny.
Well, you
James.
don't have that. You have the
Yes,
8th.
yes, I realize that. Well, maybe
How
the
about the
Spurs
8th?
maybe the Spurs can trade back, get some more draft capital or player capital, and take LeBron's son at 24 or something like that.
Okay.
Or
All right.
35.
But I do want to get this point out. The Spurs have 3 number 1 draft picks next year. 3 first-round draft picks, okay? They can't afford, they don't have roster space for
All
a
of them.
4, an 8, and 3 more next year. They just don't. But to Bob's point, the Spurs do kind of need to be working in 2 directions. They need to be developing young talent for Wemby 5 years out, and they need to be bringing in veterans to help right now. I don't know how many young players on this Spurs roster are going to stick. I mean,
Who would you keep on
Now-
the roster?
let's go through it. Malachi Branham, is he here for the long haul?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe, maybe not. Trey Jones, long haul?
Maybe not.
Right. I mean, Keldon Johnson?
There is nobody on this team that is not tradable,
Oh, I'm with
Nobody.
you there. I'm
except
with you.
for Wemby, obviously.
Yes.
Vassell is the only promising player they have currently on this roster.
City Sissoko? I mean, I think he's got some talent, but there's no
Maybe.
guarantees on this team 18 months from now.
No.
Uh,
There's no guarantee he's in the league in 18 months.
Yeah.
None of these guys are guaranteed anything.
Jeremy Sohan, is he part of the future? I don't think so.
Only if he changes his hairdo.
He's got, I was talking with a friend of mine the other day about him, Walter. If I saw just like a little bit of the good part of the old Ben Simmons, the guy who could rip a rebound and run with it, the guy who flew with the ball in transition, the guy who could back cut and dunk on people backdoor. That Ben Simmons, if I saw some of that in Jeremy Sohan, I would feel so much better about him. But I don't see any of that. Like, none of it. So I don't think he's part of the future, man.
Okay.
He's just not going to be there.
Okay. Again, Devin Vassell's the only guy that's I would consider keeping. But again, if somebody wants him, throw him in the deal.
It's a full roster overhaul.
Yeah.
And, I thought about this. If I'm picky and choosy about what the Spurs are next season, 24-25, I want them to haul ass, Walter. I want them to play fast as shit. Wemby can rip and run, right? He's great at bringing the ball up the floor.
Okay, you want him to play like who the hell are the Knicks are playing?
Indiana. Yeah.
Indiana.
Something
Indiana
like
runs
Indiana.
the ball. Yeah.
Something like Indiana.
Okay.
And then when they get bogged down in the half court, that's when you go to Wemby and your post-up stuff. But basically, I want him to run because I think Wemby can outrun basically just about everybody at his position.
That's fine.
I want to go up tempo.
Okay.
And, Sheedy Osman, we don't have Doug McDermott anymore, but we did. I don't want any of those guys. I don't want dinosaurs. Zach Collins, Bassey. I don't want dinosaurs. I want guys who can run.
Okay.
So we have 2 draft picks. If you use them, then use them on guys like that. And don't get small players.
Again, I don't want draft picks. I can't see how they go that direction. I don't see it.
Donovan,
with all the first round picks they got coming, I don't understand why they would make those selections. Unless they believe these 2 guys that they're going to get are going to be impact players from day one.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen.
That's just so rare. I mean,
again, to me, if you put a gun to my head, I would say the Spurs deal those picks and get some sort of veteran in here. But again, when they make that trade, understand something. You're going to get a player that has warts.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. Because no team is going to get rid of their best player because you want him. It doesn't work that way. You're going to have to settle for guys like Ja Morant, who has to get out of there.
I'll settle for Ja Morant any day.
That's what I'm saying.
Not a settle.
Listen, you're either going to get a player who has warts or you're going to get a player that has a bad contract. One or the other.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Just find malcontents who can be content here.
Yeah, you might be able to find the Kyrie Irving. Yeah, the malcontent. The Jimmy Butler, when he left Minnesota, was one of those, and he's content in Miami.
Yeah.
You got to look for those guys. I thought Donovan Mitchell was a guy that might be on the Spurs' radar for that kind of a move, but in a game 4 last night against Boston, he didn't play.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, and Donovan Mitchell doesn't play shit for defense. I'm out on Donovan Mitchell. Don't want him here. Let's talk about these playoff series, Walt.
Okay.
We covered.
Let's start with the Cleveland series. That series is over. I think we thought that series was over before it started.
Absolutely.
We know Boston is going to screw up at some point, which they did in this series already. You'd expect them to close it out now up 3-1.
But Boston does have a weird habit of just taking a shit on the floor at some point in these series.
They take a day off.
And it's so strange to me. They are not going to be able to afford that if they're playing a Western Conference team in the finals.
Well,
and they may not be able to afford it if they play the Knicks in the next round, if the Knicks are healthy. But let's go to that series. I mean, it's been very entertaining. First 2 games to New York, second 2 games to Indiana, and we've seen that.
You're being entertained now, are you?
It's entertaining as hell.
Good
It's entertaining as hell. Watching your Knicks lose.
But you're not. Here's what I don't understand. How do you not root for the New? And listen, I understand New York hatred because everybody has it because you're jealous as hell, and that's because because you're soft as hell. You wouldn't last in New York City for more than 2 minutes. Let's all be honest about it.
Mugged?
No, you wouldn't be mugged. You couldn't handle it. You can't handle the pace in New York.
I blow my Achilles on the 4th play from scrimmage.
They'd knock your ass over off of that skateboard piece of shit you drive around here. But listen, I understand. You're all the haters. You can't come up with a good enough reason to not root for the New York Knicks. I hear all this crap. Some some radio guy in San Antonio just crapping on the Knicks yesterday. Shut the fuck up, first of all. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And why wouldn't you want to root for this team? Oh, I don't know. They play hard. Oh, I don't know. Everybody plays 48 minutes on the team. They never take a night off. That's not the team you want to root for? You'd rather root for the Spurs, who have a night off every week?
Okay.
Kidding me.
Okay. The Knicks have no choice but to play every one of their players like 8 gajillion minutes every game because they have nobody left on the bench.
They have a choice to play. Hart told his coach, "I don't want to come out of the game." He played.
No player wants to come out of the game.
He's playing 48 freaking minutes a night. He played 3 consecutive games.
I admit,
3 of them.
Josh Hart is a warrior, and
They're all warriors.
I enjoy watching him play.
And
I
they-
just don't
and they-
like the flopping from Brunson. Okay,
Flopping. Are you kidding
Brunson's
me?
a flopper.
The Pacers have gotten more of their share of the whistles the last couple of games.
Yeah,
please.
that amuses me.
And Rick Carlisle, go shove it up your ass.
Pacers are pissed off about the officiating in games 1 and 2. Then the Knicks are pissed off about the officiating in game 3.
Pacers.
Which means the officiating is equal.
Go root for Caitlin Clark. Shut the hell up.
I can't
Love of
believe that
God.
the Pacers actually have the advantage in the all-time playoff head-to-head series against the Knicks. Did you know that?
No.
They've won like 5 more games. I'm surprised by that. I would have thought it would be the Knicks.
By
your
the
Knicks-
way, New Yorkers don't need to be tough. I mean, we are already tough. We don't need guns to be tough. Okay? Okay, Texas?
Lord.
I just want to root for the Pacers just to piss Walter off.
Yeah,
That's
man.
right. You're not pissing me off.
I mean, at this point,
I would be happy if the Knicks lose the series. I would gonna live with it because they're so undermanned right now. It'd be incredible if they pull off this. If they pull off this series.
Let's move to the West.
Yeah, let's
see,
do
now
that.
you got tired of
Let's
it.
do
I
that.
get you.
All right. So y'all stayed up and you watched the OKC game last night. I
No,
guess?
you're the only one.
Okay.
That was a little
goddamn.
back and forth.
It was an awesome basketball game. SGA was getting outshined by Luka. Then Luka got loose with the ball, and SGA turned his shit on. He made more mid-range jump shots last night than any player in the NBA in 2 years last night. Do you realize that? That is a shit ton of mid-range shots.
Hey, I got one for Luca. Why don't you stop complaining about the officials and go back to the free throw line and practice? Okay?
Yeah.
How about that?
Well,
How about
yes.
that, Luca?
Truth.
11, what were they, 12
Truth.
of 23 last night from the free throw line?
Yes.
That's where Dallas lost the game, and that's too bad.
Well, considering they were 2 points down and he was at the line, yeah, absolutely.
It is hard to imagine how unlikable Luka Doncic is. I mean, he is awesome at this sport, and he is completely unlikable, unwatchable, a punchable face. He fucking cries the whole fucking game.
To the point where they made a comment about Luca crying last night was at the end of the game when Luca wanted to do an intentional foul at the end of the game, to put
Yes.
Oklahoma City on the free throw line, and said, "Oh, there's an instance where Luca's actually crying that he didn't get."
Yes. Yeah, the broadcast made fun of him. Yeah.
Which was hilarious.
Interesting stuff from OKC. They have not looked great. They have not looked like themselves. I mean, I realize they're a young team. They've never been in this situation before. I thought they were lucky to get out of last night with a win. I thought they were going down 3-1 for most of that game. Jalen Williams has not been himself. He actually led Oklahoma City in fourth quarter scoring this year, not SGA. And J-Dub has been terrible, frankly, in this series.
PJ Washington has been tremendous for the Mavs. That's been the difference in this series.
When the fuck did he turn into an all-star?
I don't know.
2 weeks ago or something?
In this series, it happened. So he's been the difference. Obviously, you're getting it from Kyrie, you're getting it from Luka, and PJ Washington's been the difference. That's put them over the top. But still, with all that being said, here we are. We got a game 5 now in this series, and Oklahoma City, I think, still, as I thought, would win this series. I think they have the better personnel. We'll see.
I
See what
agree. I
happens.
think they have the better personnel. It's the experience that worries me. And by the way, Oklahoma City made a deal at the trade deadline for Gordon Hayward that is going to come back to haunt them, and it is already in this series because they could have gone to the Washington Wizards and gotten Daniel Gafford, the big who the Mavs gave up a number 1 for.
Yeah.
And look how well he's playing for the Mavs, and look how much OKC needs more big man help for Chet.
Shit.
If OKC had Gafford right now, they'd be winning this series 3-1. There's no doubt in my mind. Chet's a good ball player, by the way. He's really, really good at basketball. And I almost feel sorry for him, Walter, because he is a contemporary of Victor Wembanyama, and he is never going to be shit by comparison to Victor. He is so talented at his sport, and he's never going to measure up to the greatest center of his generation.
Okay.
Yeah, I almost feel sorry for him. Did you watch?
Okay. He's in Oklahoma. Who cares? He's going to be just like Wemby. Wemby's never going to be in the national spotlight until he
Wemby
gets out
is
of
in the national
What kind of
spotlight.
take is that?
until he gets out of San Antonio, just like Chet Holmgren is.
What kind of take is that?
That's the factual information.
This is the internet world,
What do you think?
bro.
You think the Spurs are going to be on ABC at noon on a Saturday afternoon?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely not.
Yes.
Nobody cares about San Antonio outside of Texas. Nobody.
They care about Victor Wembanyama, who
they
plays
don't.
for San Antonio. Yes, they
Oh,
do.
please.
Yes, they do.
Go watch a Caitlin Clark game,
Okay.
would you please?
I will bet you $1,000 the Spurs have a noon Sunday game in the next two seasons.
If they're any good, maybe they will, but not as it stands. They won't. Let's just look at the schedule this year. Yeah, they had all these national games, and all of a sudden they were taken away.
Did y'all see the post game? Did you see Mark Cuban's hair? Did you see it?
I
No.
saw a little bit
He's
in
got
game.
a fucking squirrel toupee on his head. Walter, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. It looks like spray painted alpaca.
He's a great human being.
He is a good human being. He's
No,
a
I
good-
said great human being
Yeah.
because of what he's doing with drugs in this country.
he I agree. There's
And
a lot about Mark
and
Cuban to like,
and gambling in Dallas.
but I hate his Mavericks.
Okay.
Hate
I'm with
his
you.
Mavericks.
okay.
Denver. I said last week that Denver was done, but obviously that's not the case now because Minnesota has squandered 2 opportunities to really put this series away.
Yeah, and this
and they didn't finish, and now they're in trouble.
Have they squandered it, or has Denver gone and taken it? Denver looks completely different in these last 2 games, particularly Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray's been a difference
he looks like he got flown off to Germany for that, blood mixing.
Kobe Bryant thing? Yeah.
The Kobe Bryant blood mixing thing. Like, he's just a different dude.
Yeah,
Like,
he's been a difference. But
he
they
had-
had an opportunity to step on their neck and really put this because they're better. Minnesota's just better. They got better personnel, and they should. And their problem, just like Oklahoma City's problem, is they don't have the experience there either. They don't know necessarily. And listen, you got to put the heart and the stake at the champion, as we all know, and they just don't know how to do that. Maybe they will learn throughout this series, and we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's been an interesting series. I mean, the word is the playoffs don't start until a road team wins. And does this series start when the home team wins?
Yeah, you might be right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's amazingly entertaining to me, by the way, that series. I mean, every game is great
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah.
There's
And-
just so much athleticism on the floor. It blows my fucking mind.
And all these conference semifinal games have been entertaining.
Yeah.
There's been a few blowouts here and there, but the
It's
series
a good playoff for the NBA.
yeah,
It's been
absolutely
very good.
All
Nobody's
right.
watching it, but everyone.
You want to
it's
go
good.
rapid fire?
Sure.
Right.
I'll give you a couple ones. As you know, well, maybe you don't if you haven't listened before. It was a Spurs season ticket holder this year. I had the 10-game plan. So as part of that, you get the Spurs survey come to your email, which is interesting.
Okay.
And so I got one yesterday, which is all about broadcasting. How are the Spurs and you rate the broadcasters individually: Bill Land, Sean Elliott, Bill Schoening. So in case any one of those 3 guys listening, you all got high ratings for me. As far be it for me to crap on you.
What?
Wow.
I would not do that.
Wait a minute. You can't crap on them if they're bad at their job?
No, I would not. No,
Why
I don't
wouldn't you
think
do that?
I don't think any of them were bad at their job, so I did not do.
Okay.
But
Oh, yeah.
I
the
disagree
previous Spurs survey.
with you. I greatly disagree with you.
Okay.
If you listen to any other broadcasts around the NBA, if you have NBA League Pass like I do, we are maybe one of the 3 worst television broadcasts and definitely one of the 5 worst radio broadcasts.
Okay.
It is absolutely unentertaining by comparison to others.
But I did fill out the Spurs survey as part of being the season ticket holder, and the one complaint, and I made sure that this
Just the
was
one?
in all of them.
Not the
there's
food trucks,
No, there's no
high
food
price
trucks.
of food.
No. Listen, the food prices are expensive no matter where you are because of greed. The only complaint that I had going to the arena was if you sit in an aisle seat, you've made a mistake because you'll never be able to see the game because people constantly go up and down the stairs to the bathroom, to the food markets, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a constant parade. And I bought 2 aisle seats so I could stretch my legs out, and I can, I'd rather sit there. But you can't see the game because people walk in front of you constantly.
Did you
chose poorly?
I did choose poorly, but you know what? The Spurs, and this is what the Spurs need to do. They need to have a sit in your seat policy during game action. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
They used to have one. They must have taken it away.
Why don't we just airlift the people right out of their seats, Walter, with little tiny drone helicopters?
No, go when it's a goddamn timeout. Just like
Now-
everybody else says. Or here's an idea. Don't feature fat ass space. How about that? There's the reason why San Antonio's the fattest city in the world.
Oh, that took a dark turn.
Let me go get a bucket of chicken nachos and whatever. Oh, yeah,
God,
anyway.
Walter, I was at some public event with my wife like a week ago, and I was like, I know where I was. I was at the zoo, and I said, Catherine, blink twice at me when you see one attractive person, male or female, of any age. I was like, just blink twice when you see one. And bro, we were laughing at hysterically. Hysterically. There was not a looker in the bunch. Not fucking one.
Even when you went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror?
Maybe even me. Yeah.
San Antonio, unfortunately, not in the mix for the college football title game. Saw a report that came out this week. We're not even in the part of a backup plan, which is disappointing.
Why
not?
would we be?
Because we run one of the better bowls in the country. Why not?
How many people can you put in the Alamo Dome?
It's like
65?
Yeah, that's it.
That's the reason why.
65,000?
That's not enough.
Yeah, they want 100,000 nowadays, don't they?
Okay.
All right.
I'm just saying, it's disappointing. So there's that. NFL opening games that came out this week. Today we got the new, and this, the schedule releases on Wednesday, but they keep pushing these little nuggets out. Why? Just release the schedule on a day you're going to release it, and that's it.
Because because the NFL is marketing geniuses. As much as we hate the NFL and the front office, they are marketing geniuses. Who's talking about it on a Tuesday morning? We are.
I think people are talking about, oh my God, did you see? Aaron Rodgers is going to be the first Monday night game. Okay, that's the end of the conversation.
You came into the room saying that.
That's because it was on the TV and you're a 49ers fan. And we're doing a sports thing. Otherwise, nobody cares.
I don't care about the NFL schedule. It makes no difference to me.
All right, we talked about the WNBA. Let's talk about the NBA quick. TV, it's certainly, from what you're seeing now, it certainly appears that TNT is not going to get the package. You saw in the last 48 hours or so, what's the best thing you've seen from Ernie Johnson on TNT? And it makes you think, why is he going away?
No, they're singing their swan song for inside the NBA.
It certainly appears that way.
It does.
That we're seeing the end of TNT's NBA coverage.
And it looks like they may be going to NBC. Am I correct on that?
They're going everywhere. So it's going to cost you, $1 million just to watch sports coming up because you're going to need 10 different streaming devices.
I have to wonder if TNT loses the NBA and if NBC gains it, isn't the first thing NBC does is call Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, and Charles and say, hey, would you like to do that over here?
Absolutely.
I mean, so I'm not sold on them being done, but TNT may not be part of it.
A couple other ones here. On the political side of things, regardless of what side you're on, what aisle you're on, if you want to go win the election, go win the election. It is up for grabs. If you want Joe Biden reelected, then go out and vote for him. 66% of America goes out and votes in the presidential election. We'll make it 70 and win in a landslide. That's all there is to it. You want Joe Biden to win? Go out and vote. You want President Trump to win? Go out and vote. It's that simple.
Okay.
It really is.
Get out the vote. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's that simple.
Right.
You could just overwhelm everybody if you go out and vote. And if you don't...
Did you say 67% of people vote?
66.
I'm surprised.
In a presidential election,
I'm surprised it's that high. Okay. I thought it was a lot less.
So did I. I thought it was a lot less too, but 66%. So listen, you can go to 70 and you could blow Trump out of the water, you can blow Biden out of the water. Either way.
I got something I want to interject. Did you sorry.
Okay.
If you're not done, go for it.
I'll give you one more.
Okay.
I think to be honest, I think we all want a ceasefire in what's going on in the Middle East. But at this point, why would anyone support Hamas, who started this war in the first place and continues to use civilians as shields? And if civilians are getting killed by Israeli bombs, then don't start a fucking war. That's all there is to it. Israel's right now is fighting 3 wars at one time with 3 different fucking people, 3 of them. And they're our best ally in this world. There's no question about it. And we need to treat them that way. And if and listen, I don't believe Joe Biden is going to withhold, arms for Israel. But
I do. He has to. I mean, you have to hold Israel accountable for what they are doing and how they are doing it. Admittedly, they're responding to a heinous act, but there is a limit to what you can and cannot do.
But if Hamas continues to put their citizens in places of harm, then who's that on? And fuck Hamas. They're all goddamn terrorists. Blow them off the goddamn...
Hamas could have brought an end to this a long fucking time ago if they'd just given the hostages back.
Absolutely.
Okay? Now they've killed all the hostages and they don't have any bartering.
Screw them. Blow them off the map.
I agree.
And they need to get out. And they need to get out of the way for the Palestinians to have some peace. I mean, Hamas is not a legitimate political organ for the Palestinians, period.
I want to see peaceful Palestinians survive through this. I don't want to see them get hurt any more than they already have. And I want to see them come out a better nation with better leadership on the other side. And Hamas,
that's wishful thinking.
Hamas being destroyed will eventually be really good for the Palestinian people.
It'll be good for everybody. It'll be good for the entire world. We all know Hamas is just a terrorist organization. But for Israel to have to fight a war on 3 different borders with 3 different people is outrageous.
Yeah. I mean, to totally turn tables and stop talking about this. Jeff, you were born and raised here in San Antonio, right?
Yes.
Walter's a transplant. I'm a transplant. I don't understand this. It rains a lot, and people drive on the highways with their hazards. What the hell? I mean, is that something you were taught by your dad?
Yes,
to go do that?
It is. When it's really coming down hard and visibility is low, you put your hazards on so people behind you can see you.
That know you're an incompetent driver who shouldn't be on the highway.
No, so they can see you without you putting your brake lights on.
That's called your taillights.
Yeah, but when the visibility's low, you want them to be blinking. I don't know. My dad taught it to me. You're right.
Okay. All right, then while we're on this line of questioning, so I think I know the answer to this. I think it has to do with the military. But why do people back up into a parking space?
Because it's safer. Statistically, it is safer to back into a parking spot and come out head first.
San Antonio's not being safe at anything. I'm not buying that.
I drive a pickup truck. Backing in is a lot easier than going front first.
Yeah, but you also realize you're holding up everyone else that wants to move along and get into their space.
Pickup trucks don't fit anyway. I'll explain it to you outside.
No, I'm not interested.
You don't care. All right, I got 2 quickies.
2 quickies.
Jerry Seinfeld. Did you see his commencement speech?
Yes.
I forget what university it was.
Duke.
I just blanked. Yes, Duke. Bravo. I'm not always a fan of Seinfeld, but I really was in this situation. He basically told the student body, don't be so fucking serious. Comedy is important. Don't kill comedy with your wokeness. And I am really proud that he did that, and I'm glad he did it.
I think it was a the media went crazy over what happened. You had a dozen people walk out and booed, and then everybody started cheering Jerry. It was a story about nothing. It was really funny. And no pun intended. It was a story about nothing, in my opinion.
But I liked his commencement speech. Okay. Lastly, have you seen the Tom Brady roast?
I did. I saw some of that.
Parts of it,
I have not tuned in, and I probably won't. But I have caught some of the highlights. Nikki Glaser, who's one of my favorite comedians, I've seen her a couple times in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. Have you seen her 10-minute bit?
I have not seen that, but
Walter,
she got rave reviews.
She's so good. I mean, she's just so. It's her brand of comedy. It's so Nikki Glaser. She just rips everybody a new asshole.
I think everybody was shocked that everything was on the table during that roast. Everything.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's wife, Tom Brady's
Ex-girlfriend.
kids, everything was
Yeah.
on the table.
Yeah.
And nobody held back,
Rob
including
Kraft's choice in
Robert
masseuse.
Kraft,
Yeah.
masseuse, all that kind of stuff was on the table. You know, I think Brady went up to was it Ross that he had to have a little conversation with it. You know, don't say that again or something along that line. But funny stuff. It's
All
good.
right. Where are we going to be in a week? Who's winning these series? I
You
think
got to give me the series now. All right.
I think Denver's going to beat Minnesota. I
Okay.
think OKC is going to eventually beat Dallas.
Okay.
They have Game 7 at home. I think that helps them.
I disagree. I think Minnesota will win that series ultimately. And,
Minnesota over Denver?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Oklahoma City, I'll pick them as well.
I think Indiana's going to get through New York, even though I don't think they should. They're not as good as New York, but New York's just so banged.
I think Indiana is being overlooked. And if I hear somebody say one more time, well, Indiana doesn't play a lick of defense. Yeah, they do. Watch the freaking game.
And obviously the Celtics.
Yeah. So those are your 4 finalists right there.
There you go. If you're the Celtics, you're hoping beyond hope that Minnesota gets knocked out of this thing somewhere along the line because they are built to beat Boston. They've got all the long, rangy wings to guard Tatum and Brown, and no other team really does. Yeah, that's my take. I enjoyed it, boys. See you next week. Like and subscribe to The Unrestricted.
No.
Sure.
Don't want to.
How y'all feel out there? Do you feel good? I said, do you feel good? Come on. The groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. I said the groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. It feel good, don't it? It feel good. It feel good cause you know it's good.